right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A Metro East man mauled to death by a dog. Tonight, experts weigh in on why animals may attack.
Bitter cold leads to black ice. Why slick spots are problematic the next couple of mornings.
1 week after the storm, and city drivers are still stuck in the snow and ice.
I've missed a whole week of work because I can't get my car out.
Tonight, we're digging for answers. And we start with the weather impact tonight at 10. Dangerous cold is tightening its grip on the bi-state and creating more concerns on the road. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking how cold it will get overnight and the chance of snow flurries tomorrow. Scott?
I don't think we're looking at any accumulating snow, but with temperatures like what we're seeing right now, what's out there isn't going anywhere. And what tried to melt earlier today, as we saw some sunshine around the St. Louis area, that's tending to refreeze again. 13 over in Salem, but look at Mount Vernon, Flora, Effingham, Litchfield, all down into the single numbers right now. 12 in St. Charles, out at right now in Spirit of St. Louis Airport, it's down to 13 degrees. So, you know, we've had the plows go through a lot of the streets. This is Florissant. You see, you got your piles of snow. The street's generally on the dry side, or at least it has been, with the exception of that melting snow. And you look at it, it looks just like it's a little wet, but it's really that thin layer of ice. So black ice the next couple of mornings is going to be something that we deal with as temperatures will be cold. And our coldest morning will actually be on Wednesday morning this week. Tomorrow, we should actually see temperatures back into the lower 20s during the morning. Clouds will be on the increase. We may have some flurries, not any accumulating snow in the morning, but then single-digit temperatures early on Wednesday. So the next couple of mornings, more of this black ice and those slick spots.
And it's been a week since the snowstorm hit our area, and city drivers tell us most of the roads are still a mess. Freezing temperatures and city plows unable to get to some residential streets aren't making things easier. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon is in the Weather Impact Storm Tracker now after spending the evening tracking conditions. Brent.
We sure have, Mike. How are the roads? That's what we always ask, just about all of us, when anyone asks us to go anywhere right now. And for good reason. Take a look at this right here. This is how it's looking on many side streets and small neighborhood streets all across the city. We're in the Benton Park area right now, and I tell you what, this is really a snapshot of similar conditions all over St. Louis.
You don't have to be an expert to understand what just about everyone is thinking.
They're pretty slick. They're icy. They're pretty icy.
It's terrible.
Sharday Embry would know. We found her here at Magnolia in Virginia in South City.
And I'm currently stuck. And I'm a pediatric nurse, and I've missed a whole week of work because I can't get my car out.
Good neighbors to the rescue.
Move your tire to the left, like to the left a little.
With a little effort from strangers.
Yeah, I was just passing by. I had the stuff in the back of my truck.
She made it out.
I don't think we would have done it without your help here, but yeah.
All over the city.
Well, the main streets are great. Arsenal's fine, South Grand is fine, but it's just these streets where we live.
City leaders say snowplows are not able to get into smaller residential streets. That's why it's the same old tune for so many right now. At the music room, students have had trouble getting to class, even after the school reopened following the snowstorm.
The last one was stopped.
You weren't able to go?
Yeah.
But Mom navigated the icy roads so Layla and Julian could get here.
Oh, the streets are terrible in the neighborhoods, and even around the schools, they're still pretty rough.
Monday, we learned one neighbor in the Botanical Heights neighborhood is taking matters into his own hands, starting an online fundraiser to hire a company to remove the snow and salt the roads.
So sick of the snow, though. I'm over it.
And he's not the only one. We're back live now. We're on Pestalozzi and McNair right now. You see the conditions. And I'll tell you this, last year the city street department cut $600,000 from its budget, which would have went to snow removal. Leaders said they had enough salt on hand because recent winters weren't that bad. Tonight I've learned that the Urban League is actually helping out senior citizens actually clear their steps and even their sidewalks because Everyone has to help each other out right now. We're live in St. Louis. Brent Solomon, right back to you.
New details tonight in a hit-and-run crash in North St. Louis. The teenage victim has died just one day after being released from the hospital. The 16-year-old was hit on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive near Van Deventer last Wednesday night. He was taken to the hospital with injuries to his head and ribs. He was released from the hospital on Saturday. Then on Sunday, he was found dead at his home. Police are still looking for the driver. If you know anything, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. 866-371-TIPS.
Tonight, Alton police are investigating the death of a man who they say was mauled by a dog in his home.
The coroner has not issued a final cause of death. New at 10, Laura Barcheski talked with an animal behaviorist about how often something like this happens, Laura.
Mike and Kelly, the animal behaviorist I spoke with, says a dog attack resulting in death truly doesn't happen very often, but is a tragedy and is hard for everyone involved.
The Madison County Coroner's Office says on Friday, just before 5 o'clock, Alton police responded to a home on Lovejoy Lane after reports of a dog attack. They say 53-year-old Robert Eccles was mauled by the dog in his home where he lives with his brother. Investigators say Eccles was inside at the time, but his brother was outside, and when he was walking into the house, the dog tried to attack him as well. The coroner's office says his brother was able to get away and run to the neighbor's house to call 911. Eccles was pronounced dead about an hour and a half after the 911 call. Investigators say the autopsy revealed animal bite injuries, but they need to investigate further to determine the cause of death. They didn't say who the dog belonged to. Animal behaviorist Jody Epstein says any breed of dog can bite and bite someone significantly, but it's very rare to have a dog attack that results in death.
It's somewhere between 30 and 50 fatalities per year, and there are almost 88 million pet dogs in this country.
Epstein says dog attacks can happen for a variety of reasons. Fear and pain are the most common triggers, but it could also have to do with the person's behavior.
If they're intoxicated in some way and so they're behaving erratically, if they're having a medical emergency, a heart attack, a stroke, a seizure, those behaviors can be startling to a dog and can trigger them to become defensive in that way and not stop until the person stops moving. Or it could be disease, neurological or physical, in the dog itself.
We still don't know what happened in this particular case. Epstein says one of the biggest challenges after tragedies like this is public perception.
It's important when things like this happen that the community rallies and supports the humans and support the survivors, whether the victim survives or the family of a survivor who didn't, victim who didn't survive, and understand that they're grieving their loved one and they're grieving the loss of their beloved pet.
Alton police declined to comment any further. The family posted about a fundraiser to cover the memorial and other unexpected expenses. We have a link to that on KSDK.com.
Developing tonight, a man is dead after starting a shootout with police officers who then hit him with a patrol car. St. Louis County Police say the man was randomly shooting at cars along West Florissant Avenue in Ferguson this morning. According to investigators, he started shooting at officers and then ran away. That's when they drove after him and hit him. Police say they tried life-saving measures. The man later died at the hospital. The department says using the car was a tactical decision.
If he's firing off shots and he's creating a threat, obviously here there's a store right there and our officers are on scene. We don't want anyone struck, so we are going to take whatever means necessary to stop that from happening.
One officer suffered a minor injury in the shooting. No one else was hurt. Police still investigating the incident. Tonight we're learning an Amazon worker has died after being stabbed by his co-worker at a warehouse in Berkeley. Police say the two men got into a fight last night. The other man now charged with murder and armed criminal action. Amazon says it's working with police during this investigation.
Tonight, a red flag warning is in effect in the Los Angeles area as powerful winds regain strength, reigniting fears. Out of control wildfires will continue to grow and spread, and new ones will start. The death toll has now risen to 24. More than 12,000 homes and buildings have been damaged or destroyed. An investigation has started into the origins of the fires and whether they were accidental or intentional. The impact of those fires is hitting close to home.
Our Annie Krall was at St. Louis Lambert International Airport tonight to talk to some passengers fresh off a flight from Los Angeles. Annie?
Mike and Kelly, it's nothing short of devastating to watch so many families lose their homes in the Los Angeles fires. People returning to St. Louis tell me that they saw damage firsthand. As the California fires rage on Monday, some St. Louisans are grateful to be coming home. An evening Southwest flight from Los Angeles brought Ryan Goldman, his wife Stephanie, and their children back to Belleville after staying overnight near LAX.
When we were flying in, I was kind of expecting to see, the fires in the distance. I didn't really see it, when we were looking out the window. I don't know if it was maybe on the other side of the plane, but you could kind of just smell it in the air, and, it's just, I feel bad for all the people that are going through that and suffering out there.
The Goldman family flies through LA 2 to 3 times a year to connect to the Philippines and see Stephanie's family. But Ryan said watching the footage of what has been happening since January 7th has been hard to wrap his head around.
I feel terrible. I have a lot of friends that live in Los Angeles. I have many friends that have lost their homes and, all of their possessions, and it's heartbreaking to see what they're going through, Mother Nature, and just, to lose everything you built throughout your life in an instant is just devastating.
Echoed by Foley native and singing sensation Ruby Lee. After winning runner-up on NBC's season 24 of The Voice, she arrived in LA on the 8th and was shocked.
In the plane, you could see the fire, which was crazy. It was really weird looking out the window and seeing all this smoke around you, as you're flying. It looked like a war zone, really.
On their first night, Ruby and her family had to quickly evacuate from the Lowe's Hotel in Hollywood to go to a zone about 45 minutes away that first responders deemed safe.
You'll hear all our phones go off and hear all these warnings, it's like evacuate, and it's just scary.
Ruby Lee was in California for a rock and roll camp led by musicians in the band Green Day. She will return to California next week for additional shows.
Having a ball tonight in Jefferson City. Missouri's new governor takes the oath of office.
Securing Missouri's future begins with public safety.
With a day one promise for the Show Me State in his hometown of St. Louis. Our freezing weather putting a freeze on local animal groups' rescue efforts. The call tonight for help.
We are far from done with the bitter cold. Some of the coldest air yet poised to make a run at us this weekend. We're timing out this roller coaster of temperatures we deal with all week.
Caught on camera, stunning moments as underground explosions rock an intersection in Massachusetts.
One of the blasts sent a manhole cover high into the air.
Highway 290.
This blew me away. Thank God nobody was killed.
That manhole came crashing down just inches away from an SUV in the city of Worcester. No one was hurt, no word on what caused the underground explosions.
Tonight, the former Illinois sheriff's deputy accused of killing Sonia Massey remains in legal limbo. Sean Grayson was in court today for a hearing. His attorney says they're waiting on the Illinois Supreme Court to decide whether the former Sangamon County deputy should be released from jail under the State Safety Act. The Supreme Court session begins tomorrow. However, Grayson's case is not on the docket. The Massey family argues the Safety Act was meant for low-level offenders who can't afford bail. Grayson is facing first-degree murder charges in the July 2024 shooting death of Massey.
A possible new buyer tonight for the owner of Granite City Steel. Rival American steel makers Cleveland Cliffs and Nucor are reportedly working together on a joint bid to buy U.S. Steel. This comes 1 week after the White House blocked the sale of Japan's Nippon Steel over national security concerns. Both companies now have until June to break up the nearly $15 billion deal.
Well, right now, Missouri's new governor and First Lady, Mike and Claudia Keough, are celebrating their first day in office with an inaugural ball at the state capitol.
Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, recaps the inaugural ceremonies in Jefferson City.
Standing under a statue of Thomas Jefferson and in front of 2,500 supporters.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Michael L. Keough.
I, Michael L. Keough.
Mike Keough swore the oath of office and became the 58th governor of Missouri. But only after one final official act in his old job as lieutenant governor presiding over the state senate. The ceremonial transition of power on the south lawn of the state capitol featured outgoing Governor Mike Parson waving goodbye and driving off in his pickup truck. His former lieutenant governor coming in with a new team and a new pledge.
My administration will be relentless in our efforts to make Missouri a place where it's easier to be a cop than a criminal.
In his first day on the job,
So the first executive order I will sign.
Keough signed a series of executive orders, greenlighting a law enforcement effort to track down and detain thousands of fugitives without standing warrants, and deputizing local and state law enforcement to assist an incoming Trump administration with enforcing immigration laws.
Day one crime plan has been put into action.
Kehoe also condemned a rise in political extremism.
The contest of ideas is no longer a matter of right versus wrong, but of good versus evil. Political opponents cast each other as traitors and criminals. I reject this.
And he pledged to look for ways to cut back on state spending. The new governor plans to roll out the next phases of his crime plan when he introduces his budget proposal during his first State of the State address inside the House chamber 2 weeks from now. Reporting in Jefferson City, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Earnings tax refunds for St. Louis workers are putting a bigger tax than expected on the city's budget. According to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal, the city has paid nearly $41 million. That's almost double budget estimates. Courts ordered the city to refund workers who paid the 1% earnings tax while working remotely outside the city during the pandemic. You have 2 opportunities this week to voice your opinion on the city's plan to spend the Rams settlement money. A Board of Aldermen committee will host 2 meetings this week to discuss the Transform STL Act. The plan unveiled last month calls for spending $200 million on infrastructure and $77 million on child care and job training. The first meeting is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at City Hall. The second meeting will be held Wednesday night at 5.
Right now, the freezing weather is forcing a local animal shelter into a rescue freeze, and they need your help to get out of it. Stray Rescue of St. Louis says it's out of room after rescuing more than 25 animals stuck in the winter storm last week. The shelter is calling on people to adopt or foster some of the dogs to make room for others.
As soon as they get into a foster home, they're really able to start to relax and trust and be themselves. So getting them out of the shelter gives them the best opportunity to be their best selves for their forever families.
Even with the freeze, Stray Rescue is still set to take in close to 20 more animals this week.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the weather impact forecast, a forecast that is very cold.
Yes.
Very cold. Temperatures down into the teens tonight, even some single digits in the outlying areas. So with all the snow we've had as it tries to melt off, even though MoDOT and IDOT have pushed it off to the side, you know, during the day you get some sunlight on that. Even without temperatures getting above freezing, that sun can melt some of that water. And as we have seen the last couple of mornings, then we get some more ice building up. So we could have some black ice again tomorrow morning. Wednesday morning, low temperatures back in that 0 to 10 degrees above zero range. So Wednesday is going to be the coldest morning of the week. But give yourself a little extra time and certainly wear those layers the next couple of days. Right now in St. Louis, we have a mainly clear sky, 18 degrees at Lambert. If we didn't have the breeze, we'd probably be a little bit colder. Dew point's 5 right now. 29 was a high. That was right after midnight. 16 was our low this morning. Looking across the area overnight, some of our outlying areas east of St. Louis have already dropped below the forecast low temperatures, but 12 to 15 degrees does it for a lot of us. Clouds will be on the increase overnight. Tomorrow morning, maybe there's a few snow flurries, especially north and northeast of St. Louis. During the afternoon hours, skies, though, start to clear out. It becomes mostly sunny, but we're just reinforcing the cold air tomorrow across the bi-state region. That process tonight, a little clipper zipping here across the upper Midwest towards us. The snow, that's in South Dakota, into Iowa, northeastern Nebraska. Kind of just keeps on that same trajectory, which keeps it mainly to our north. We're 18 now, Kirksville 16, Evansville 16, 9 over in Indianapolis right now. Tomorrow morning, we should be pretty quiet and relatively calm, but clouds have thickened by 8 o'clock in the morning and maybe a few snow showers drifting in from the north. Not a lot, flurries. They'll skedaddle. The afternoon hours feature the clearing trend. Temperatures warmer south of St. Louis during the day, but the colder air definitely gets reinforced. And by Wednesday morning, some of our outlying areas are close to 0. We'll go with 9 in town, but know very well that it could be a little bit lower depending on the winds. As we get back into the weekend, we're tracking another front, which gives us some rain. But you know what? We get warm. Wednesday, 40s, around 50 on Friday. That leads us into a weekend that features a return to the Arctic air with falling temperatures Saturday afternoon. And by Sunday into Monday, it gets really cold. Our wind chills for MLK Day in the morning are in the double digits below 0, it looks like right now. So for the next 7 days, it's the roller coaster. Temperatures, they're cold for the next couple of days, then 40s on Thursday, 51 on Friday. Boy, won't that be a dream. And then we get into the weekend, and here comes the cold air. Our day of service on Monday is going to be a very cold one. We'll be lucky to get back to 18 Monday afternoon.
So pick days Thursday and Friday for sure.
Yes, even with the chance of rain on Friday.
Yeah. Scott,
right.
thanks.
Frank's here with sports.
Well, City SC has opened up training camp. The Blues have a big 2-game stretch looming. And there is another reason to dislike Kevin Demoff of the Rams. We will explain in Frankly Speaking.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Onder Law Injury Attorneys.
Does anybody really like the first day of anything? I didn't like the first day of school. First day on the job is kind of scary, especially when my boss, Mike Bush, looked at my tie and asked if I got a free bowl of soup when I bought the tie. And the first day of training camp is tough. It happened for City SC today. 20 degrees outside, but that's only the half of it. The first day with a new coach, oh yeah, he's gonna work you. The first part of training was a distance run done to time called the Bronco. Edward Leuven was asked to explain the Bronco and its purpose.
Explain it. Suffering. That's it. Suffering and being able to suffer and to maintain a good pace. And I think you have to be able to suffer because, like, if you don't learn to suffer like in a like really hard way, you're not going to do it in a game.
Speaking of tough practices, Jim Montgomery and the Blues were back at Centene today. They have an interesting upcoming schedule. The Flames at home Tuesday and Thursday. It's a must series for the Blues. The Flames have played 3 less games and have 3 more points. Now, you normally play in games how you practice. Not true with this team.
The positive is I've seen it in the way we practice. We practice the right way, in my opinion, pretty much all the time, you know. And so the level of pace, the level of execution, the effort level in practice has been consistent. We need that to translate to games.
Mike McCarthy is finished in Dallas. McCarthy was 15 games over 500 with the Cowboys, and he did have 3 straight 12-win seasons. However, it's what have you done for me lately? Dallas was 7-10 this season. Rams and Vikings in Glendale, Arizona, first quarter. Matthew Stafford finds the Vianney grad. Kyron Williams, touchdown, 7-0 Rams. Remember when I told you the Vikings only trailed in 21% of their snaps this season? Well, they trailed the entire game tonight. Jared Verse will pick it up and travel 57 yards for the score. I really hate to say it, but the Rams are dangerous. They win it 27-9. And finally tonight, somebody once said, you only lose your integrity once. The good news is, once you've lost it, you don't have to worry about losing it again. So that means Rams president Kevin Demoff has nothing to worry about moving forward. He actually tweeted January 12th is special for him. 9 years since we returned home on this day. 8 years ago, we hired Sean McVay on this day. 6 years ago, we beat Cowboys in playoffs on this day. I'm wondering if he celebrates the anniversary dates of when he first started lying to St. Louis, too. Let me help you out, Kev. Remember 2015? Don't listen to the rumors. Enjoy the celebration. There's a 1 in a million chance we'll leave. And I love this one. Why would we want to go to Los Angeles? It's a terrible sports market. If this guy was Pinocchio, his nose would stretch from LA to St. Louis. Remember when Kevin Stan, the commissioner, tried to play dumb as soon as Stan bought the land at Hollywood Park to build the new stadium? Oh, he's just buying some land. They're all liars, and the courts agree. That's why they had to write a check for nearly $800 million. So happy anniversary, Kevin, and we wish you nothing but failure from here on out. And that's from all of us here in St. Louis.
Speaking your love language, the international twist to a popular sweet for your Valentine.
Mizzou basketball's leading scorer is scoring on and off the court. Mark Mitchell is working with a St. Louis company to release his own brand of chips. Mitchell's Spicy Queso Hoops are now available at Missouri Schnuck stores. The onion ring style snack makes Mitchell the first college athlete in the country to have a non-potato chip item in stores.
Looks good. That's Amore. Brock's is going global with a new line of conversation hearts for Valentine's Day. The heart-shaped candies will feature heartfelt sayings in 13 different love languages. They'll also feature 4 new flavors: passion fruit, pina colada, mango, and peach. Last year, conversation hearts were named the favorite Valentine's Day candy in both Missouri and Illinois.
Maybe one should say, will you warm me up?
Yeah, Mother Nature's not showing us any love the next couple of days, that's for sure. Temperatures tomorrow right around 20 out the door. They're down into the single digits and teens right now. They actually go up. We may have a couple of flurries tomorrow morning, not to be alarmed. By the end of the week, we're close to 50 before more Arctic air, probably even colder than what we've seen.
Wow. There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.